Now, I wouldn't be doing this if it were underneath any other circumstances other than I installed this oil pan incorrectly using the incorrect type of gasket. So I used a pre-cut, it's like a rubberized felt Fail Pro gasket instead of using the OEM Fuji Bond or equivalent RTV hand laid gasket. So we're going to be doing that today and making right by a mistake that I made a little while ago. So that is the plan, at least for today. And I know there's a couple more things in store for this car before this week is over, hoping to tackle all of these items. But we'll see. We're just going to tackle this. Now, I just got these brand new OEM. You can see that we have, so I bought these from Burlington Subaru, and I paid a total of $6.58 for 15, what was it? Yeah, 15 brand new oil pan bolts, because if it's gonna cost you $6 to do it right, might as well get all new hardware. Just send it. And don't forget the RTV. We're gonna be using Permatex Ultra Gray. This is probably the closest you'll get to the factory Fuji Bond that they put in there for, I think, half, if not a third of the cost of actual Fuji Bond. But this is what we'll be using, and it's convenient to do because Permatex is available at Walmart. So might as well just go with this. You're not really going to get anything better by getting Fuji Bond other than OEM, but this is just as good, if not the same. So because we're going to be taking off our oil pan, we're also going to be needing a oil change here. Now I am due for an oil change, so this is not a waste of money here. I'm kind of planning this as we go along for this whole period here. So it does need an oil change, so I figured while I'm in there, might as well reseal the oil pan. It is already baking out. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hour job, just because you do want to make sure that the RTV sets up properly. That way you're not risking causing any extra leaks. Because, all right, so you bolt the oil pan up, squish it a little bit till the RTV starts squeezing out the side of the oil pan. You let it sit for a solid hour so that it can cure, and then you squeeze it back up to the proper torque spec. That will ensure that you get a full seal around there, as well as it'll make sure that none of the RTV comes loose and fall into your oil pickup and do a GR86, which we don't want. Now, in light of possibly doing other things while I'm underneath the car, like low glow, I'm probably just gonna toss it up on stands. No, I'm not doing low glow today, fuck that. So, the only tool that we really need to use, at least in my case, to undo the oil pan is going to be these right here. Obviously, we're going to have to open the drain plug, so whatever size that is. I believe it's a 14 mil or 16 mil on these. I use a Fumoto oil drain valve. I'll show you that in a second. But the only tool we'll really need is a 1/4 inch ratchet, or any size ratchet with a 10 millimeter on it. So, yeah, that's all we need. Maybe a creeper if you want to be extra fancy, but very, very minimal tools. So grab our oil drain pan here. I'm gonna bring that out to over there and drain all of my oil. Take a look underneath here. You can see that the entire back half of the oil pan is very, very covered in oil. So first step is definitely going to be loosening that oil drain valve. There we go. Alrighty, while that drains. Just gonna hang out for a little bit. Now, I always keep mine hand tight. So now that it's a little bit cooled off, should be able to undo it. But just my hand as the wrench. There she goes. Okay, we're gonna get in here. Find it, where is it? There it is. Not that, this. There's not a lot left in here, but it should be enough. Also gonna grab a rag. Gonna try and get as much of the excess oil off as possible using this. And then smack the rest of it with some of this. And replace all of it with this. Once we use this and this to reseal the pan on that. So, just gonna take a look-see up in there. Nothing of large note. Very clean. No buildup of anything. So I think we're all set to go. So, no sparkly shit in the oil for the most part. But yeah. Alrighty, let's take this into the garage. So now that I just got that gasket all peeled up, you can see the residual oil that was left underneath that gasket. You can see where it was leaking. It was leaking basically from the back, right about here, all the way wrapping around to the front to up here. So that is how bad that gasket was. It's just poor fitment everywhere. I'm gonna clean off all the old RTV from when this was originally installed, and we're gonna give it a nice good bath, and hopefully not have to do this for a second time. Now we're gonna do something that I probably shouldn't display on the internet. I'm gonna toss this in the street and just hose it down with some brake clean real quick. Now, just in the interest of cleaning this, or keeping this as clean as possible from possible sediment, after hosing it down with some brake clean, just gonna hit it with some of these clean shop rags and clean it out. Hopefully get as much garbage out as possible. That way we can reseal this without introducing anything that wasn't in there in the first place. New oil filter going on. Got these, all the fresh hardware, somewhat finger tight here, so let's get this nice and hand tight, hand snug. Once you start to lose grip, once you can't turn it any further by hand, that is as tight as those should ever be. There we go. Gonna be giving these a good old snug up. There we go. There we go. Nice and snug. Nice and snug. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. I think this one's tight because there's lots of. Yep. All right. Perfect. Alrighty. It is very dark outside. It's about 10:30 right now. Unfortunately, I have work tomorrow, so I have to stay up a little bit later on to continue to torque all this down and make sure it's all done. But I want to make sure this gets done right. I want to make sure all the oil stays in the car. So we're going to stay up because I do have to take the car to work tomorrow. We're going to stay up, make sure this gets done right. All those bolts are snugged all the way around. And I just went another pass just to make sure, just like a little bit of a, just to make sure that they're all torqued down or all snugged down to the same hand. I did a little click with my hand just to make sure that the torque is set. That way that the gasket maker has time to cure, kind of sit where it needs to sit for a little while. Then we're gonna come back in an hour after that's had plenty of time to cure. And we'll just send it that way. Torque it down with a torque wrench. So we're gonna go in here. Gonna use this bad boy right here. If I'm not mistaken, it is a very, very, very minimal amount of torque. It's like 8 or 9 foot-pounds of torque, which is not a lot, but we do want to make sure it's uniform all the way around, so we're not fighting gaskets and over tightening things. Make sure it's uniform all the way around, because that is a hand-applied rubber gasket. Normally it's done by a machine or by a mechanic that's done this for longer than I have been alive. So hopefully this pans out okay. After further delegation, I will not be taking this to work tomorrow. 24 hours after application, which was right around 9 o'clock, will be 9 o'clock tomorrow. I'm not gonna risk it as much as I want to drive on it. Not happening. There's one thing I don't fuck around with, is oil pressure. So we're not gonna be driving tomorrow. I will rather spend $30 on an Uber here and back than risk blowing my motor up, because $15 on an Uber is really not that much more. It's quite a bit cheaper than replacing my motor. So I'll be checking back in right around 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Good evening, racers. It is day 2. We are gonna be just chucking some oil in it, gonna run it, make sure it circulates fine, and then we're gonna send it. Not exactly send it, just drop it off the jack stand so I can take it to work tomorrow instead of taking the Outback, which was fun, but it's not as fun as that. So, alrighty, I do appreciate being able to drive it though. So, alrighty, just gotta chuck some oil in it. Make sure the level hits good. Run it for a little bit. Check for leaks. Should be good though. Alrighty, now we just enact the art of oil change and just add some oil. Gonna come in here and drop that bitch down in there. It's gonna thread right in. Then we can cut the bottom of that off. Use it as a makeshift funnel. I'm too lazy to do that. I want to put used oil in these anyways, so I'm gonna freehand this, 2 hands, off camera, because that's the best way to do it. Alrighty, this This might not stay up. I'm gonna get clocked by it. But we have a decent reading on the dipstick, at least what I can see from my view there. Alrighty, so this is Matt checking in from almost 3 months later. Everything is still running as it should. Very, very simple fix. It's just kind of nerve-wracking knowing that the RTV that's going into there could cause issues. I know the new GR86s or the BRZs are having issues with that, the oil pan having too much RTV on it, causing issues. And that's definitely not something that you want to see on this, but I'm glad that, 3 months later I can report to you guys and let you know that, everything's running fine. Just want to let you know that we're going to be dropping the Ricer line soon. That's going to be a string of merch between, it's going to be a collaboration between Upstairs Customs and RRVT, all three of us. So Rob Skyline, My Legacy, and Kim's BMW are all going to be on here and on their own t-shirts / hoodies, and all the designs are going to be out there for the Ricer line. So if you want to purchase, our first official run of merch from upstairscustoms.com, feel free to drop by the link in the bio, check out the website, say hi, what's going on, and check out our t-shirts and hoodies and whatnot. That would be greatly appreciated. So whenever you're going to be resealing your oil pan, this is just kind of a basic rundown as to what is necessary for this whole process. Once again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe on this video here. Don't have to, but it is greatly appreciated. So if you do feel so inclined, feel free to do so. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.